All right. Hi there, everybody. Good morning and happy Thursday. I hope everybody's doing well and got a good night's sleep. Um, you're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio, TV, and Podcasts, the number one internet talk network. I'm Elana Feldman, your host of Health Vibes with Elena, and together we are going to raise your heart, mind, body, and soul to the next level so we can transform your life today. Today, we have a fabulous show for you with my amazing guest, the wonderful my dot sister, Martha Davis Alexander. Woo! I'm so glad you're here today. Welcome, Martha.
Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you for having me on your show. I love your show. It's one of my favorites.
Well, I just love you, and I am so grateful for this opportunity because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here today with this show. So thank you, and just I'm blessed to have this opportunity. And
Absolutely. I'm thrilled that you took the opportunity because it means that you had to make a choice.
Right. And we in life we have a choice. We can choose what we want, No one's stopping us. So Martha, why don't you tell us what you do?
So my name is like Linda said, my name's Martha Davis Alexander. I am a retired attorney. I'm a life coach, a business coach, a money coach, but even more important than that, and my true heart and passion is I am an intuitive energy healer, and I am certified this week in the F.I.X code. That is the Fleur Intuitive Extraction Method. And I'm really excited about it because it changes people's lives in a really efficient way. And I'm really excited about it. It's fast, it's painless, and we just get rid of all that emotional baggage. And I love that.
Well, I absolutely love that because I actually got to partake in 8 beautiful sessions of this and would love to tap into more about it after we kind of talk a little bit of like today's talk is how to get off the hamster wheel. And I have to say, this really has made a difference in my life and truly would something I've never done. The world really needs to see it, and what better person to put it out there to the world than Martha? So,
thank you.
Yeah. So, Martha, actually, why don't we kind of talk about what is the F.I.X code, and how does that help people, and how does it relate to maybe getting off that hamster wheel and getting outside of that?
Yeah, so thanks for asking. So a hamster wheel, right? If you think about it, it is a little wheel. The hamster goes on it, that little with his little legs, and goes and goes and goes and goes fast, 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 but he never gets anywhere, right? He never goes anywhere. So it's equivalent to any of us working so very hard, but never making any real forward momentum, right? We're either doing busy work that doesn't move us forward. We see squirrels. I used to be a squirrel girl, right? Oh, something shiny. Let's go that way, right? And that kept me on that hamster wheel too. Thinking that we're not enough keeps us on that hamster wheel, right? Because we continue to get, if you look at mine, I have way more certifications than I ever needed. I didn't need to be a certified business coach. I'm a lawyer. I didn't need to be a certified money coach, right? I'm a lawyer. I mean, there are a lot of things that mesh with from being a lawyer that they were skills and things that I already had, but I kept thinking I wasn't enough. And that kept me going after the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Not that I regret any of it. They all added tools and whatnot. And there are other things that are in my, education graveyard. I have the courses that are in the course graveyard that I never did, or that I bought and just did it for a minute and then moved to something else because it just didn't work. So that is a hamster wheel of a business owner, right? We're on doing those things over and over again. And part of the reason we do that is because of our emotional baggage, right? The stories our unconscious mind tells us, or that the codes that we have, those emotions that we have are telling us, right? We get triggered by something, and all of a sudden that's all we can think about. And
Right.
and
I've
it
definitely been there.
keeps us on that hamster
Yeah.
wheel, going nowhere, just
Yeah.
pedaling and
Like,
going nowhere, and not even getting the exercise, right? We're not
Yes.
even getting the exercise. We're just on that proverbial hamster wheel in our story. And
Right.
what the F.I.X code does, and oh my goodness, I took my pearls off. Okay, well, it's all good. What the F.I.X code does, I have a prop that I use, and I was changing it out, but forgot to get the other one. Is what it is. So what the F.I.X code does is, we with the help of your unconscious mind, right?
Right.
We pinpoint where that emotion first entered your body, right? And almost always it's between 1 and 7,
Yeah.
because our unconscious mind puts up bumpers after the age of 7, right? And says, no, we're not going to accept that unless there's a major trauma. That's where it gets hit, right? That you're bumpered after age 7. But between your birth, right, during your birth, and stuff's going into your unconscious, right? Stuff
Right.
like, I'm gonna call them little dandelion. You know how a dandelion turns and those seeds kind of float. That's how I visualize it. It just goes, okay, that's there, right?
Yeah.
And then that emotion builds this chain.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you or your listeners have ever experienced, you get triggered by something, and all of a sudden all the stories that have that feeling kind of come up for you.
Yeah, it's like the hamster wheel going down the rabbit hole, and it's like one thing after another, and it's just like you're spinning round and round and round and round. Like,
yeah. So what the F.I.X code does is, working with your unconscious mind, we reach in there and we grab that first instance of that emotion, the first time, the root cause of that emotion in your being, and we pull it out like a dandelion weed. And it is the funniest thing, right? Because when I heard about it, I was like, yeah, right. You have to feel your emotions in order to move through them, right?
Right. And you have to show up and be present. You know, you can say yes and agree to things, but I think we were talking about this a little earlier, is you have a choice. You have a choice how you want to show up. You have a choice how you want to present yourself. You have a choice what kind of vibe you want to give. And I think with this, exactly, it's something that I've never heard of. And when you told me about it, yeah, for a second you're like, wait, what? You know, that's just going to take, but it is, excuse me, that story that we write. It's that story that we tell ourselves, that we try to define, and that should not define us. So if you want to explain a little bit more with this F.I.X code, I'd like to, after you're done talking about that, to share the experience that I had, which was incredible.
Yeah. So it's when we get up in that story, right? We're not really present. We're not focused on now. We're in the past. We're in the memories of our past, making up shit in our head, right?
Yeah, all the time.
We just do. And
Yeah.
I sometimes I felt like there were monkeys in my head, right, chattering at me and making noise, and it was hard to think through the monkeys.
Right.
And with the F.I.X code, the monkeys kind of go away. They're not there. And when I heard about the F.I.X code, I was like, I'll be frank, I was like, that's just bullshit. You have to feel your emotions in order to get rid of them, right? That just, all therapy, right? That's what we do, right? We talk about it and then we work through it. But that's not true. You don't have to. You don't have to talk about it. Your unconscious mind knows exactly where it is, and it knows exactly how to take the negative emotions out of your memories. You still have your memories. You just, when you think about it, you are either neutral or you have whatever positive memory, right? But if it's a negative experience, you're still going to remember it if you choose to, right? If you choose to go back to that memory, you don't have to.
Right.
And the beautiful thing is that taking all the learnings from it clears your karma. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
Actually, I think that's one thing that we didn't discuss of that is the clearing of the karma, which I had 8 sessions, so that karma better be cleared.
Getting clearer.
It
right?
is.
Because the role of karma, right, is that you're supposed to learn the lessons that you've been given.
Right.
And sometimes, if it's back when you're a baby, how are you learning that, right? Or how do you take that in? You just repeat that over and over and over. So when you take the learnings, you get smarter, right? You absorb, you understand more, and you're clearing your karmic debt. I love it. It is one of my favorite things.
I love it too, because it's too that so with my experience, I really felt like the first one, I think, it's hard. I'm a very visual person. So this is what I really liked about it. I didn't have to sit there and be quiet in my mind of like, oh no, like what is going on? The hamster and the stories weren't playing. I could really sit and be present. And first of all, Martha's voice is amazing. So, to have her through these sessions, like I felt safe. I felt that I can really connect to the higher level. And I felt that I could transform myself and truly be where I needed to be. And each one just got better and better. And by my last one, I almost like fell asleep during it because I was able to really tranquilly see myself at a different level, erase those feelings and show up. And I even forgot the code that I even said from the beginning. So maybe we could talk about something like that of how this truly, I believe it. I mean, look I got the chills on my arm, thinking about it, talking about it. And I feel that I'm different now. I feel that it has helped me show up with not writing these stories, getting that hamster wheel out of my head. I did it this morning. I freaked out. I, get this like anxiety because I get in my head. It went down the rabbit hole. And then I called Martha and I'm like, ah. She's like, Elena, what's going on? I'm like, I'm in my head. I'm on the hamster wheel. I'm going down the rabbit hole. But then I had to remember like to show up, take that deep breath, know who I was going to be on the show with, know who was showing up, and just grateful for that opportunity because I was able to see myself different. Old Elena would have probably had a different reaction. Old Elena would have showed a different emotion. But with this fixed code, those stories didn't play in my head. I can't even remember the 8 codes that I even told you what it was. I couldn't even go back, which I think is incredible and should say a lot for itself.
Well, and we do about 3 codes per session. So 8 times 3.
Yeah.
Right? How many codes did you do?
And so with all those codes, I really was able to rewrite this story different. I was really mentally able to get myself back to the birth, to get myself back to before 7 years old and see that memory, but able to store them and put them away and turn it into a positive story.
And what's beautiful is your unconscious mind knows exactly where that is. You don't have to know where it is. You don't even have to know what the emotion is. You don't have to know. Hey, Stephanie.
Yeah, that's my sister. Yeah, sister. My sister knows those stories. And
So you don't have to know where they are. In fact, sometimes the stories right? And the places that you think it aren't even where it is, aren't even the beginning of the story. So your unconscious mind knows everything. That is the beauty. Really, you don't have to tell me anything. I don't ever hear my clients' stories unless they insist that they need to tell me, right? Because I don't want them to get knee deep in it.
That's what I think is so beautiful is like, you can show like this is so real. I mean, you didn't know any of my stories. I mean, you didn't know where I was coming from. You didn't know those, deep wounds or certain things that I was going through and having, that's right. My sister just said having a very vivid imagination. And when you have that very vivid imagination, it really meant like, I think I like the quote, no more, like not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah.
you
So
know,
what's interesting about having a vivid imagination, it means that you are very creative, right? You have that creativity.
right.
So are you using that creative genius,
Yeah.
right? For staying in your stories and developing more stories and elaborating and making them big. And I have a very creative, right? I go all up in what the story is and got really creative about it as well. Without those stories, right? Without being on that hamster wheel, that creativity channels into other things in your life, into
Mhm.
your business, into your relationships, that focus and that creativity that you're born with, right?
Right.
That
Right.
natural state of being that I think we're all supposed to be in, which is happy and joyful and without all the yimmer
Monkeys.
yammer in our head, right?
Right.
Allows us to truly powerfully show up and focus our attention on what's important to us.
Right.
And
And
I
I love that you
love
say
that.
that focus and focusing on it and choosing to show up and how, you want to, because you're right with having that very creative, mind and thinking and being visual of stuff, with these codes. I mean, my stories, I tried to write a story today and I was like, and it said, no, Elena, that's not the story. Like, and then what was the biggest problem? Like, I can't tell you right now because, it's just showing up for myself. And, I'm a great example. As I said, today I did it to myself. You freak out, you write this story. Who's going to listen? I don't know what to say. I don't know if I'm doing this right. And here it is, what you've taught me too. There's no right or wrong way. Just show
There's
up
no right or wrong. Just
and
show up. Be yourself.
yeah. So I think with that, just showing up and being myself, that is when I'm true authentically. And you know what? Nothing's perfect. So if something didn't go right on here, I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect. Everything went well. That's life for you. You have
We
your
are
up.
real. We're showing up real and authentically as ourselves. And that's really, I think, part of the purpose of life is to be authentically ourselves with each other.
Right. I do agree with that. And being authentic who you are on screen as you are off and feeling those emotions. And as I said, exactly, if you're not having a good day, then that's okay. And tomorrow will be the next. It's like not going and showing up. You don't have to show up being so perfect, so on point, because if we do that, then that's more of that pressure. That's when the wheel starts to turn again.
Yeah. And we don't want that wheel turning.
Go, 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 go.
No turning wheel, right? I
Right.
that hamster wheel, man, I put it in a garage sale.
Yeah, that's a I love all your little
Have it for free.
yes.
I no longer need this.
Yeah. Um, all right, everybody. I think right about now it's about time for a quick break. So right now it's gonna be just a 1-2 minute break. We are with GoingSoloMedia.com network. I'm Elena Feldman. This is Martha Davis Alexander. And why don't you get up, shake what your mama gave you? Don't leave because we will be right back. And you don't want to miss the second half with these two beauties. All right. Welcome back. You're listening to WGSN-DB, Golden Solo Network, Internet Talk Network. I'm Elana with your Health Vibes with my beautiful dot sister, Martha Davis Alexander. Woo!
Woo!
Welcome back. I hope you shook what your mama gave you, got up and did a little stretching, a little shaking out, and feeling good. And we're back with how to get off that hamster wheel. I hope you've been enjoying that first half, and welcome back to the second half.
Second half is always the best, right?
It really is. So just for people who maybe are popping in right now, we were just talking about the F.I.X code and the experience that I had with it and how it really, truly has made a difference in my life, getting off that hamster wheel and allowing me not to create these stories and define myself for different situations. So,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. So with that, I don't know if you wanted to share any more about that or to show how people can sign up for you with that and, just to move forward, because I think everybody needs to experience Martha. And it really, as I said, I've never seen something like this. And it really was not like an easy thing, but it really truly has changed my rewiring in my brain.
Yeah, it's removed for you, right? Those triggers, those
Yes,
emotions that are attached to your memory aren't there. You're not going up in those stories. It's not to say there aren't other stories we still need to remove,
right.
but right, the other emotions attached, and it's a good start. There's less chatter in your brain. You're able to focus. You're able to show up as you because you're not worried about it. There's nothing holding you back. You're not still on the hamster wheel, which I love. So people can reach me at marthadalexander@gmail.com and just say, heard you on Elena's show.
And what's your website too? Do you have a website they can contact you on as well?
It's courageouslyyoucoaching.com. It's soon to be changed because I got to add the F.I.X code to it and kind of shift a few things. But it's courageouslyoucoaching.com. Or you can text me or call me at 805-422-6865. So either any of those work. Or you can find me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, kind of on Instagram. Whatever I put on Facebook, I think goes to Instagram. It's one of those things. So, the F.I.X code stands for.
What does it stand for? If you
The
don't
F.I.X code stands for FLIR Intuitive Extraction Code.
Ooh.
So Daniel FLIR is the person, the founder, and the one who brought this to the world. And intuitive, each practitioner is a little different. We use our intuition. So when someone is struggling or whatever, we use our intuition to help guide you. And extraction. We pull dandelion weeds. We pull those dandelion weeds out of your unconscious so that you're not, your garden can grow. You can stay off that hamster wheel.
I love that you say that is like making the garden grow. And I really felt that. I felt that weed pulling out of my body. I felt that whatever is stuck, I was able to like boop when it like really like pop it out. And what I was saying too in one of my sessions, a lot of times I think when I get nervous or I'm trying to think of something, I clench my jaw and I get like very like anxious. But in this, I noticed I wasn't clenching my jaw. I was able to fully like make myself be that present where my mind wasn't going all over, because I think my mind knew like I wanted to do this. I wanted to show up for myself. I wanted to be present and I had a choice. and I think it's going back to having a choice. We have a choice in life. You can have good days, you can have bad days, however you want to show up. But what it really boils down to is choosing how you want to show up. And, with that. And also, I think what's helped me to get off hamster wheel is being able to talk about stuff with people, being able to be vulnerable, being able to open up. And that's what I love about you, is that you make people feel so comfortable. You make them want to trust and open up and be able to go deep. And I feel right now, like, of noticing or certain things is a lot of times, not a lot of times, but that doesn't always happen. You see someone online and you think, oh, I'm going to relate. And then you talk to them offline and it's like, that's like a total different person, So what I really love about you is showing up raw, showing up that. Hi, Linz. Lindsay is one of my best friends I've known my whole life.
Hi, Lindsay.
And she's saying, interesting, we can dedicate ourselves to the hamster wheel so we can know that we actually have time and energy to change and dedicate our time and energy to getting off of it. We have extra energy. It's where you put it, right?
Yes, exactly. You get off the hamster wheel, all that extra energy, you get to choose. Where are you going to focus it?
And, I think it relates with the show is what vibe you want to give. This morning I kind of woke up, not on necessarily the right side of the bed, but it's how I chose, like knowing that I have this. Do I want to choose to wake up and like, it wasn't like the best morning, but am I going to allow that to affect me? Am I going to write that story? Like, I had a bad morning and then this happened and then that happened and then nope, not going to happen. So that's where the F.I.X code came in for me and stopped that. That story wasn't going to be written. I wasn't going to show up for like that. And I needed to show up for myself. And that's what I love. And I think serving others on a beautiful way of that is knowing like, oh my gosh, I get to do a show with Martha, my amazing dot sister, and it's going to be a great day. And no matter what's going to be thrown, it's how I choose to show up, what energy I want to give. So I'm grateful with changing my mind, changing that story and being able to rewrite it. But thank you for seeing me and showing up for me, because in life, I think right now we're all going through stuff. But showing up for yourself and showing up for others is a beautiful thing. And thank you for showing up for me today.
Well, absolutely. I woke up excited that I got to be on your show today. So there you go. I was like, oh, I get to be on Elena's show. I'm so excited. And I get to see you any day that I get to see that beautiful smile. It is a good day. I love starting my mornings. One of my favorite things about having you as a client in the process of getting certified was there were a lot of mornings you were the first person I saw, the first code that I did. And I loved it because it always got my mornings off to a beautiful start.
I really appreciate it. And we just had so much fun. Like,
we did have fun.
There's one funny thing I like to share when we were doing one. And she's like, you're going to hear noises. You're going to hear all these things. And next minute, her dogs are like, "Ruff, ruff, ruff, ruff."
Yeah.
They just wanted to show up and be present. So I love that with all of this, that no matter what, we can be playful. We can have that joy and seeing each other. Like, oh, I just loved our mornings together because I got to laugh. I got to be myself. I got to be seen. And I got to do an amazing thing that has benefited me so much in these sessions that I didn't realize.
So, you know what's interesting about the F.I.X code? The other thing is as you get rid of these low energy vibrational emotions, right? Because anger is a low energy and it brings your vibration down. As we get rid of those things, your vibration naturally goes up.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel that. Or like someone said, I have a lot of energy, but someone said, you sound a little different. Like what's different? There's a different energy that's coming out. And I definitely felt that I was able to release some of that negative energy and show up a different way for myself. So, and that's right. I don't know if it's my mom or dad, because they go Deb, Rob, Feldman. So both of them could be on. So hi, mom and dad. So they said, remember when you smile and when you look at someone, that smile, people will take it with them all day and pass it on.
Yes.
And I do want to say that is, I love my smile, and I feel like everybody, not like when you walk by somewhere, not everybody, but give someone a smile. You never know, someone's having a bad day, or here it is. And I just love to smile. We have a question from Lynn's. How many sessions do you need? If you want to talk about that.
It's a great question.
Great question, Lynn's.
Great question. So I did 8, actually 9 with Elana. we added an extra one. And we'll probably add more just because. I keep having them, right? Something comes up and I will call my mentor and have another session. I know she's done it for a number of years because it's like a layer of an onion. It just peels. So after 8, how do you feel? I mean, really,
I feel really incredible. And it's 3 codes per session, correct?
Yeah. Well, as many as we can get in, right?
Yeah,
it depends on how long it takes and the first session is always longer because you need to get comfortable and we need to have that mutual exchange of energy, right? Where we trust each other and we like each other. And the first session is always free, right? Yeah. The first session is always free.
They're wondering with prices.
How much does it cost and how long do the sessions last? So the sessions are generally 30 minutes, although I don't set a watch. In general, I try and have a buffer after and a buffer before so that if something goes long or we're in the middle of something, we do that. I generally do 8 sessions at 30 minutes each. And it is, I hate telling the price online, but I'll say for February 2023 only.
Yes.
February 2023
Fabulous only. February.
It is $400 for all 8. And here's what I'll tell you about that. It's not really about the price. I know people who are charging $780 for the 8 sessions. It's more about the transformation you get, getting out of your head, not being in your story, not feeling the emotions from whatever your past traumas or your past emotions are, getting off that Hamster. You're not bothering me at all. I love answering the questions. What goes on in the session and what do I do exactly? So sure.
Great question, everybody.
Yeah, you guys are fabulous. So yes, what I do, and I'm happy to meet with you guys for free individually, right? You can just schedule an appointment. Elana knows how to do that. So you can actually talk one-to-one with me. I'm not going to give you a sales pitch. I'm just not going to do it. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. And that's perfectly okay with me. What happens is we're gonna talk the first time and I'm gonna walk you through what I do. Then I'm gonna have you close your eyes. I'm gonna tell you that you will hear noises and my dog may very well bark because he seems to like that moment to show up. And if we laugh and we'll go right back to it. And then I'm gonna have you float up above your body. I'm gonna get out of your mind, because your mind is where the stories are, right? That keeps you on the hamster wheel. And we're going to go into your unconscious mind. And I'm going to ask your unconscious mind to show you things, right? And it for some of my clients, that means they see it. I don't happen to have the gift of visually knowing what the event is. I see I'm kind of in a blank space and my unconscious mind will say, okay, you're there. Well, okay, good. So I'll say I'm here. And we do it. And we go in, we take the learnings, we take, which clears karma and allows you to understand why you experienced that experience in this lifetime. And then we go on to taking it out, right? We pull that emotion out like a dandelion weed with a big root. And then we throw it away and then you come back. So it's really your unconscious mind is doing all the work. I am there supporting you and holding sacred, safe space, keeping you in a safe space, and asking your unconscious mind to take certain steps. I will tell you so I'll tell you a story to illustrate one of my stories. My daughter was in the hospital in November with sepsis, which is it's an infection in your blood, which is life-threatening. And it was a little, what shall I say? It was difficult. Although I wasn't emotional about it. I wasn't like getting in my story. I was just dealing with the doctors and doing what I needed to do and trying to be there for her. She was 18. Still 18, by the way. She's fine. I'm just saying she turned 19, so she was still 18 at the time. And she has a boyfriend, and they've been together almost a year. And she says to me on Sunday late evening, you know what? You can go home. Excuse me. I'm going to have Jared come stay with me. Really? You're going to have an 18-year-old boy stay with you. Make sure you're getting the meds. Make sure nothing you're allergic to is going into everything. And that's what you want me to do? And I went all up in my story. I mean, I was unappreciated. She didn't understand how important I was, blah, 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 blah. So I came home. I did come home. I was a bit of a bitch when I left the hospital room. I got to be honest. I was a bit angry.
That's what I love. She's so honest. The real, like, that's
yeah. And I came home and I called my mentor, my F.I.X code practitioner. And this is what I tell all my clients too, right, Elena? If you get in a story and you're there and in your story, you text me. My thing is stop, drop, text, right? Stop, drop, and text me so that we can get you out of that story so that you can show up the way you want to show up. And so I did that, and she, we did a session, and it was late for her, and she's so phenomenal, which is who I want to be, right? That's how I want to show up for my people.
You do that for your people.
Thank you. And when I got back to the right, I took my shower, I enjoyed dinner at home, and I understood, right? She needed a break. She needed her boyfriend there. She needed to have the levity. She needed to have some fun. She needed to focus on something other than the seriousness of the situation.
Right.
So he and I made, whenever he could be there, I would leave because that gave her a break. Now, I did check in with people. And so that's where we are. I went back and she was like, I'm sorry, Mom. I know that I upset you. And I went, no, dude, that was my stuff. That was my stuff. That wasn't your stuff. That was mine. And I'm sorry I reacted the way I did. I handled my own stuff. We're good. I get why you wanted Jared here. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It could have been much different, right? Without taking that story out, that could have made that experience much more difficult for both of us.
Definitely. And then you could have gone down that rabbit hole and could have done all these things. So I really love, because you were vulnerable. Thank you for being honest. And, my parents, sorry, it is Mom and Dad. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for showing up. I appreciate you. And thank you, Lindsay, for all your questions. She said what made you want to specialize in this? Great question, Linz.
That is a really good question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, wow. Thank you, Lynn.
You need to be a TV show host too, Lynn.
I think she should too.
Seriously.
I've known Lindsay my whole life. She is one amazing woman.
I don't know. I've never been in a hypnotherapy session, Stephanie.
I have once. I don't think it was. Sorry, the comments are delayed. I don't think it was. It's more like I feel like you can get to a state, but not necessarily hypnosis where someone else is kind of not controlling the mind, but like
No, I ask your unconscious mind to do things. I always say, I'm asking, right? And your unconscious mind can say yes or no. They're never going to do anything that's not in your highest and best interest. And I
Right.
would never want that either. So how did I get into it? So here's kind of my story. When I was, and no, I'm not going back all the way back to my birth. I know we don't have that much time. When I was 7 in 1968, right? So very long time ago, my parents, I came home from play one day, and my mom and two of my brothers, I have three older brothers, two of my brothers had moved out of the house and my parents were getting divorced. And that's how I found out. I went from a very fun-loving, adventuresome, outgoing child to a people-pleasing, chameleon, worry-filled being whose main focus was to find acceptance, love, approval, and being part of a tribe. And I spent decades and decades and decades volunteering for things so people would like me. PTA president of whatever networking group I was in, right? Anything, right? Anything I could do, because I thought I had to be something else or do something for people to like me. Being myself obviously wasn't enough, right? My mom left.
Yeah.
So I spent decades doing that. And I went through all of these different tools to find what could take that sense of, not worthy, not enough, not likable, all those feelings that hold the stories in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I was crazy. I'm saying that there are stories right in my head, right? That hamster wheel. And I spent much of my time making up stories, right, of what had happened or what would happen as a result of that. And my whole life was filtered based on the fact that I needed to be a chameleon. I needed to be what other people wanted me to be in order to be liked. I couldn't just be me. And so I went through and starting around 2019, I started going through some of those. I had a major meltdown at a networking event and went, holy heavens, there is something else running the show, not me. And I need to find out what that is. So I started on the path. It wasn't until I found the F.I.X code, that I was able to see clearly and see through those things and be okay. It wasn't until I did the F.I.X code that I could get off the hamster wheel. I am not saying that is the only thing. There are other things out there that will help you get off that hamster wheel, right? There's mindset. There's a lot of things. Not all of them worked for me. And this worked faster and with way less effort than having to relive and talk about stuff that I wasn't even sure why I felt that, right? I can give you that example as that traumatic experience, but it started well before that, right? So that's what got me started on it, was the need to heal myself. And then the ability to say, I am a healer. That is what I do. I am an energy healer. That is a God-given gift, and I love doing it. So my mission, I believe success happens for me. My success happens only when I contribute to the success of someone else. That's what gives me joy. That's what gets me up in the morning, is helping other people. I do that with out of the box. I am an out of the box. Are you able to F.I.X code yourself? So no, you can't. And I'll tell you why. It takes, it's a Bible verse, but that's not where it comes, where two or more, Eckhart talks about where two or more minds are joined, where two or more minds are put together, two or more souls are put together, a third is created, right? You need that third created. So you need to have that harmony and rapport to get that third soul, that third being, right? Created by the two of you meeting. to have it be as effective as it can. So when Elana and I are in complete rapport, we're good. And there is, based upon the two of us, a combination of us that also resides there that helps.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Thank you so much for sharing that and sharing your story and being vulnerable about that and why you do what you do. And, I just think everybody should, give this a try if you can. And I like to, it's about almost time to close on down of everything. And just wanted to kind of leave with a little saying that, so I follow this lady called Diary of a Goddess, and just wanted to read something from it today. I am grateful for the amount of love I've poured into myself. I am glowing light, getting brighter by the second. My heart is full of peace and joy. My mind is always swimming in positive thoughts. My spirit is flying to the heights I've only dreamed of. I am the love I've been looking for and the best friend I've always wanted. The evolution of my dreams become now.
Oh, I love that.
So with all this, I just wanted to say my journey is to raise your heart, body, and soul vibes to the next level so you can transform your life today. And doing this F.I.X code, it has transformed my life. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity of that. So I just wanted to say, Martha, thank you so much for showing up today. Thank you for being you. I honor you. I see you. I love you. And anybody who would like to get a hold of me, I'm Elana Feldman. My number is 562-235-8410. You can email me at ef11ca@gmail.com, or my new website is up with yourvibes.com. Martha, do you want to say your ending or anything?
Sure. You can reach me at 805-422-6865. You can email me at marthadalexander@gmail.com, or my website is courageouslyyoucoaching.com. Or if you know Elana, you can just get my information from her. Whatever works for you.
So I just want to thank everybody who showed up today. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Steffi. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you for whoever else. I can only see when it pops up. So I'm just grateful for that. And then anybody else you guys want to pass this on to, please pass this on to. You're also listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Internet Talk. #1 Internet Talk Network. Holler. Woo woo. And once again, Martha, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope everybody has a beautiful day, a wonderful weekend ahead of you, and reach out to me because you'll be happy.
That's right. Reach out to Elana.
And shake what your mama gave you. Today, in honor of this, I want you to put on your favorite song and dance like no one's watching, and maybe dance naked. Holla.
Woo. Nice. Love that.
All right. Love you guys. Bye for now.